It's been a lot
But finally, we're getting into the bracket now, and what a game we have in front of us. A very interesting game, because you have Optic, who have looked absolutely unstoppable at times throughout the last couple of days, and on the other side, you have what can only be described as a surprise package in Oxygen Esports.
I mean, a Cinderella story, a heroic run for them so far. You just heard about them talking about it on the desk. When we saw Oxygen Esports, we were like, wait a minute, this is a winner's bracket quarterfinal? You heard correct. Oxygen has upset Quadrant. They've upset Native Red, and now they need to take on Optic Gaming here in the winner's bracket.
And the biggest test of them all stands in front of them right now. Not only do they have to play against 4 players who have looked at the top of their game, they've also got the green wall in the crowd as well behind them. It's going to be a tough ask for Oxygen Esports, but they've been on the road to victory so far this tournament. Let's start off with some Collect.
Wait, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Looks like a false start here on the main stage. Collect was leaning forward. He was ready to go.
I was ready to go.
Well, I was ready to go too.
I'm just going to say
I think our
home,
crowd in Orlando was ready to go.
Yeah, there's no way I'm doing an intro better than that for the series when it starts back up again. I'm sorry.
You'll have to take the one you got.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe we can just record that one and play it again.
Play it again.
The series gets underway. But I mean, yeah, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves, but it does give us a little bit more chance to talk about the journey that Oxygen have been on, because we were kind of walking out the venue yesterday, and we were walking past the open stations. We were like, oh, I haven't seen a pit like this in years. Like the amount of big teams that were going up against each other, the amount of talent, the amount of, we call it the passion pit for a reason, right? We could hear the passion coming out of those areas and from those stations. It was a little bit of a throwback.
It was absolutely incredible what we saw. I mean, every single match in the pit had a huge crowd around it. And honestly, even going to events in 2006, 2007, 2008, it wasn't always the case that every single match had an enormous crowd around it. But that's what it was like last night, and that's where these teams have fought through. Oxygen Esports going to be very happy the fact they've earned themselves a spot here on the main stage. As we said, we looked at the brackets and we had to look, and of course the 3-way tiebreak in Pool B has earned them this spot here in the winner's quarters.
Yeah, not just getting out of the open bracket either. Like you say, it's also somehow fighting and clawing their way out of that pool, which was so fiercely contested. I'm pretty sure it was decided on map count by the end of it, how they actually find themselves in this position. But I mean, it does give us a chance to kind of highlight Oxygen a little bit more. A week or two ago, one of their players was going, don't think I'm going to be at Orlando. Don't think I'm going to be at Worlds. And now Collect, not only has he found his team, he's going to Worlds.
I mean, absolutely. What a run here over the past 36 or so hours for Collect, right? You get on site in Orlando, you wonder how this event's going to go. Fast forward 36 hours later, you're just as happy as the Chief on your screen, as he's secured his spot in Worlds. Chief's locked in, ready to go here, just as excited as we are on the main stage. But Collect already, as we said, achieved job number 1. Get to Worlds. Now he has an opportunity on the main stage to maybe even put up an impressive performance yet again.
And what a brave decision from Oxygen as well, to make the team change, right? To see the Collective saying, hey, I'm available here. I've shown what I can do in some of the Pro Series. I'm shown that I have a huge amount of individual ability and kind of raw skill. And they've made it work. 4 players coming together, fighting through that open bracket and having the success they would have wanted to. And like Shazzy said on the desk, right, achieving that main goal, the first goal, which is getting to Worlds. But it also gives us a little chance here to talk about the green wall. Optic Gaming. Everything they would have wanted on day number 1, looking extremely strong. The Game 5 win against FaZe we've highlighted for numerous reasons, but today it almost feels like they've looked even better.
They have, and they continue to look better, as you say, and that's when Optic gets really scary, right? I think we talked about a little bit of the Optic kryptonite over the course of the season, right? Working through a little bit of things with chemistry with their original roster, not closing out Game 5s and Game 7 Slayers. However, it looks like each of those has been worked on in a major way, and now they're looking better than ever.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well. I actually sat down with Alumni, who's the manager of Optic at Halo, and he was kind of having a little chat. And he was saying, there's a mental checklist we're trying to get through in day 1, day 2. Little things we're trying to make sure that we get completed, so we set ourselves up in the best way for when we get into this championship bracket. And he's saying so far, those boxes have been ticked. They're staying inside of this little bubble as well. He said they don't want to get too vocal about things. They don't want to start trash talking people. They are completely and utterly focused on their own game. And one thing I love seeing is they're smiling about it as well.
Smiles on the faces there. We saw it yesterday as well across Lucid and Formal's faces, just smiles before the match. You know that they're in good spirits, they got the right energy, and they're locked in, ready to go here in day number 2.
Well, I can always back on the crowd to give me a little bit of energy to get back into this series. Thank you very much, Orlando, as Optic Gaming now look to solidify their place in the next round of this winner's bracket, but standing in their way is going to be Oxygen Esports. Like you mentioned, the Cinderella story. The question is, can they keep it going?
That's right. Does it end here? Where does their winner's bracket run go? If you're on the side of Optic Gaming, you want to make sure it ends right here and right now. Map number 1 is going to be Recharge Oddball.
Good news, everybody. The game is live, and we are going to stay on the POV of Collect to start this one off. 3 players flying through tower from Optic Gaming. Collect doing a pretty good job just to survive here.
Like we said, can you imagine 1 week ago, as the Optic Gaming chant already erupts in the arena?
It's loud in here.
1 week ago, not sure if you'd be at this event. Now, fast forward to right now, you've already qualified for the World Championships and you're playing up against one of the best teams in the world on the main stage.
Now, this man on your screen has been doing some disgusting things to Spartans in the last couple of days. He has been hitting snipes, he has been hitting multi-kills, and he is looking, as he would say himself, final. This is formal. He's looking like he's playing some of his best Halo of the year.
The teamwork there as they go a 3-man collapse on the head of top tower. That'll actually be 3 dead, though, for Optic Gaming. Trippy, the last player alive momentarily.
Omex has managed to scoop that ball up as well, but Trippy cuts him down on the pass. But just as Trippy manages to hit that headshot, he's taken down himself. It's a head-for-head across the map, and it looks like Oxygen Esports have got a pretty decent setup here around players.
Presumably Triton will drop and rotate this. Yeah, he wants to be able to make sure he's using that shock. Triton, of course, coming from a previous Complexity roster where they found a good bit of success, but now hoping to find even more on the side of Oxygen.
It looks like Optic have managed to get a couple of picks here, so now Triton's going to feel the pressure. Instead, he's going to grab that ball away. He's going to maybe try and throw this one out and think about picking up a kill on his way to the grave. Trippy takes a little bit of damage. Lucid will collect that shock rifle, but he's just going to pass it off and play a little bit of a baton change here with his teammate. It's going to be Trippy now who has the shock.
Gotta say, great play from Triton right there to use the entire sandbox. Grapples that ball away and actually double rotates it all the way back to bottom middle, wall hitting a little bit of shock damage to allow for his team to capitalize on that damage as well. The game will stay here early on, 8-1.
Confidence coming in here from Trippy. He knows he's got Formal alongside him. Bomex picks up one, but Bone, you're in the dirt, my friend. Great teamwork there. A 2-for-0 trade in the favor of Optic Gaming. 3-4 for Oxygen. Shock in the hands of Trippy. More importantly, ball is in the hands of Formal.
Oh my God, Trippy there. You saw he thought about grappling the ball. Instead, the communication must have come in. Instead, that he was going to play shock, and he plays it well on the Mangler door. That will give them now the advantage here. Optic Gaming 17-8.
Slender lead for them. Even though they do have the shock rifle and the ball, Nemesis has managed to pick up the camouflage now, so he has the opportunity to get that pick to break the setup here. Optic trying to hold down this gold area. They're going to play up in the attic. They've got a couple of players who are kind of playing nice and close and tight to that ball. Formal's trying to sniff out this camo player, and Formal sniffs him out.
Wow, look at the pre-nades coming in from Optic Gaming. The way that they took down that camo was by pre-nading the glass ledge repeatedly, and in doing so, take Nem's camo all the way down. Formal answers back, shuts down the camo.
What a catch that was, by the way. Triton tried to throw that ball out for the play ball. An Optic player picked it up, and now Optic just working so well together. Every time damage is done, it's converted into a kill, almost at a click of a finger.
Sometimes it takes a few minutes for Optic to find stride in a game like this, but they really have wasted no time. Down by a few points early on, they've now essentially gone on a 50-point unanswered run.
Pipe setup once again looking strong here for Optic. Triton's going to be the player trying to burst through on those red stairs. However, Lucid trying to keep his teammate alive once more. It's a pretty good job of getting the trade. There is still another player hanging around here on Elevator. That's going to be Bomex, and look at Lucid. Just being a nuisance. He's saying, Bome, you've got to go forward. We've got the oddball.
Just like you said, taking his time. Knows that the advantage is going to be in his favor. They will eventually trade, but that's a fine trade for Lucid to take. 2 dead for Optic at the moment.
Yeah, you're taking a player down in Elevator there from the opposition. Not only are you stopping that push, but you're creating so much room for your teammates to hold that on ball. Formal, little killing spree, but that'll be finally ended. And Oxygen Esports look like they have a momentary hold, but even with Triton alive here, he's got so much responsibility. He knows multiple Optic players are going to be flooding. Trippy's going to be the first person through pipes.
Yeah, good movement from Triton there to fly in and avoid the green gun from Formal. That allows him to do a lot of damage up here at top tower, and a little bit more time on the board. 3 dead for Optic Gaming. Oxygen still forced to play the ball off of Formal's damage, though. That's how devastating this guy can be.
Pipe's going to pick up another. Trippy back into the pipes. Trippy doubling the dosage of what we saw a few moments ago. He cleans those pipes out. Always a good idea to do that, especially early in the morning. And at 84 points and rising, Optic now just 15 away from closing out rain number 1.
Yeah, you got to think this might be a little bit of a rotate as well, all the way to top elevator. Look at the time on the clock. Nobody's really in position. This should be the round.
Yeah, nice little rotate here. He collects pretty much the only player who can do anything, but as last player alive here, he's just going to have to play a little bit of chase here. Trippy's not going to give him the opportunity, and Optic Gaming with an extremely solid and impressive round number 1, up by 1.
Yeah, very, very nice work from Optic Gaming. And sometimes, as we said, they have a slower round number 1. Not the case here. Really firing on all cylinders after being down by about 10 points. They did not look back. They closed that one out early, and now they're going to make sure to close this one out in 2 rounds if they have their way.
I find it fascinating with the way that Optic are playing at the moment. It's almost as if we're just taking turns to talk about one player going off. It's not just one player carrying a team. We've talked about APG, Formal, Lucid. It's Trippy in this game who's leading the kills, 11 to his name.
See what Collect can do here. 2 dead for Optic, so certainly an opportunity and an opening for them to capitalize. But when players like Lucid are getting away with things like this, that's how hard it is to take down players on Optic Gaming.
How just a double kill there and survivability coming in from Lucid means that now Collect has to completely change his plan to go back to his teammates. Optic looking to hold this up all around Elevator at the moment as Collect grabs that shock rifle. Let's see how Optic hold this one. Let's jump into an Astro listening.
Bottom 10, two guys grapple, Brad. Need a weak bomb. Need here. I need help, guys. Here.
One of us dead, 3 on 3.
Rotating, Brad, rotating. Still one more. Main pit, I think. Yeah, he's going bottom elevator now.
Yeah, right below you. I'm up to the
He got a shock, he had a shock.
This is a shock.
Trying to get to you. I'm coming.
He's like
on the stairs, Brad.
Nice
shot. Get that shock.
Yeah, bottom tower. And it's switching C-plat.
T-boxes, weak bombs.
Alright, T-box dead.
Nice ball, maybe.
Try and play that if you kill it. Nice shot. Bolter.
I'm trying to get the goal fast.
Yep, nice damage.
They're in gold back.
I'm pushing out tower.
He can get gold, that's the only guy, yeah.
He's on it.
He's top tower, he's here. Nice timing, 1 dead, guys. We have a pick.
Batteries, grapple.
1, 2 dead.
T-boxes
Yeah, I'm living right now.
Joey's got bow.
Bottom tower.
He's not pushing, Joey. Just stay down if you can, Joey. Nice shot. 2 dead. They're spawning right now.
3 dead.
There should be C-plat area.
No, let's play for this game, man.
Yeah, it's coming in 5. It's coming in 5.
Yeah.
Oh, bottom mid, I came on. That was like, top tower. Weak.
Yeah, 2 guys tower.
Mid jump.
We just need to make this camo. Yeah.
Bottom mid, Mangler pushing me.
Bottom tower.
Alright, 2 is dead.
On camo.
Okay, just be ready to play that, Joey.
Fight together, Joey. Fight together.
Got one.
Oh, you, Joey.
Absolute. Good job. One more there. Neither and get gold.
That was 2 dead.
Ball.
Tommy tried to look ball. They're on ball.
Dude, bottom tower came out.
Once the only guy in goal for a second, they might spawn there.
Yeah. Yep, he's still there.
Yeah, I can push gold.
As we jump back into the game here, Optic have a 42 to 33 point lead. However, you can see the Oxygen are making some plays, but a couple of things you noticed in that listening.
Yeah, definitely a much closer round here. I mean, it goes without saying, look at the scoreboard here. It's a very different round number 2 for Oxygen Esports, but I think one thing that Oxygen needs to be careful of is even when they get 3 dead, Formal, the last player alive, is still forcing the play ball. And even when you have what feels like such good control, one player from Optic is still sneaking through.
Yeah, look at the damage that APG has just done. He's taken 3 players' shields down, and now he's moving in to finish off the kill that he started. Nemesis, only player alive here for Oxygen Esports. A great break of the setup here for Optic Gaming. Now they have one of their own, and they've got Formal with that shock rifle.
Oh gosh, Formal in the pipes with the shock rifle. That's who done it, and he does it again. Picks up another one. 2 dead. Tries to connect with Collect in the back of the elevator. That one won't go, but it will still lead to more points on the board for Optic. 3 dead for Oxygen. You can run, but you can't hide. Formal out with another perfect kill.
Formal really is looking like a man on a mission here in Orlando. He's hitting pretty much everything in those clutch moments. 62 to 39. It's another one for Formal. 5 in a row for him. Bomex, don't show you're going to go to the death screen.
Oh boy, of course he picks up another one there. That's back-to-back deaths for Bohm at the hands of Formal. It's just a respawn simulator for these guys.
Remote detonation, the only thing that can slow him down at the moment. As Oxygen Esports look to break this setup once more, try and maybe even sneak to top red here. APG's going to take shots, but once again, there's the help. Trippy gets taken down, APG as well. So it looks like Oxygen just with a little bit of superior teamwork momentarily. But again, here comes the Optic Cavalry.
Oh, it's a strong push here from Optic to answer back. It was a great push initially from Oxygen, but the 2-man push through the pipes for Optic is going to allow for a big rotate. And Formal says, I'm out of here, suckers. He rotates the ball all the way to C-flat.
And all of this space was created by Lucid there, right? Just holding up those 2 players, engaging with both of them. But now Formal's got a 1v1, so when it's Nemesis on the other end of it, Nemesis will win that one. So an opportunity here for Oxygen to get some control, maybe look at a play ball. or maybe look to take out these final players from Optic.
Nem, by the way, we got to point out, he's 18 and 14 right now. Great numbers in this game so far, but only 14 points to go for Optic to close out the game.
Looks like Optic have won those trades inside a tower as well. And Lucid, he's just seen the player running down by that repulsor tunnel. He's going to try and milk this one. 97, 98, can't quite get that 98. The ball gets picked up by Collect as well.
What's Collect going to do here, though? 2v2, this is a big play. He needs to make sure he plays the ball if it gets too dangerous.
Formal comes in, though. Formal, he's going to pick up the final kill. And with that, the final seconds as well. Optic Gaming with a 2-0 victory here on Recharge Oddball. Up one in the series here in our winners quarterfinals.
All around a great number one from Optic Gaming as they close that one out in 2 rounds. And to be honest, Onset, I think they're picking up where they left off in this tournament so far. They're looking good.
Yeah, I mean, you look at every single player in the lobby on Optic Gaming. Everyone's doing their job perfectly. It's very difficult to kind of highlight one player being brilliant because everyone is doing what you want to see them doing. It's like the machine is fully oiled. The cogs are all working together and they're just steaming forward at the moment.
Absolutely a well-oiled machine indeed. 200 to 63 in that first game. Take a look at some of the highlight stats. Of course, it's Formal. He goes 21 and 12 in that game, number one.
And has most assists in the game as well. And I'm pretty sure he had a decent amount of ball time alongside it. The man, like I mentioned, there's just something about him when I look at him on that main stage over the last couple of days. Just pure focus.
Yep.
I think he realized, he said it himself, you know, KC wasn't his best showing. You know, he was checked out a little bit after that play. We've kind of mentioned it enough now, but he looks like he's here. And he looks like he wants to perform in a way that takes Optic further in a tournament than they've ever been.
Yeah, and I have to say, moments of greatness from the side of Oxygen, right? They had several opportunities to get something like a 3 dead, even a few 4 deads, but it felt like no matter how much control they got, all it took was a single Optic Gaming push to break apart the new Oxygen setup.
Yeah, one thing I love about Optic as well is once the damage is done, they kind of run shoulder to shoulder, right? It makes it so difficult if you're that solo player. Even if both players are half shields, you're not going to take both of them down. It's very unlikely you're going to take one of them down if they're both firing their guns in the way that they want to. So it looks like Oxygen just struggling to deal with those kind of flood of players, especially through those pipes area. Optic seem to have their game plan down to a T, as now we move over to game number 2, which is going to be Slayer on the streets.
Yeah, it's a clean 2-0 win there in oddball recharge for the side of the green wall. Up next, going to Slayer Streets, and we'll see what they might be able to do here. If game 1 was any indication, though, Optic is leaving no room for Oxygen to play high-speed Halo, right? Optic shutting them down at every turn.
They certainly are, and what's been impressive with the Optic Gaming members on this Streets map as well is every single time they seem to have a Stalker in their hands. It's not a case of just doing damage. I'm seeing 3-shot, 3-shot, 3-shot. That's how good these guys are looking individually at the moment. So for Oxygen Esports, this is a map that they could get back into the series, but sandbox control is vital for them to do so. And I'm not just talking about getting the weapons. They've got to keep them out of the hands of Optic, and they've got to put them to use as well.
Right, as we get ready to get into this game number 2, let's not forget Oxygen has earned this spot, right? They have upset team after team to find themselves in the winners quarterfinals. Can they dig deep here on the main stage? Can they show up in a big way to maybe take game number 2 from Optic Gaming?
Game number 2 being a Slayer as well always gives the underdog that little bit of hope. If you win this one, you know you've only got to steal one of the next 2 games, and you've got another Slayer to maybe cause that upset, but at the moment that looks a long way away. Collect though with a great start. He's going to pick up those rockets.
A little bit of a snag there, and to be honest, it's a rare moment where you actually see Lucid the first to fall on Optic Gaming. That will, as you say, give a little bit of a rocket grab here, an opportunity for Oxygen Esports, and the game surprisingly slows down. Optic does not want to be on the receiving end of these rockets, trying to bait these out if they can.
I was about to say, how well did Optic bait rockets yesterday? It seems they know positions they want to play where they can get away, whether it's with a thrust or not, or maybe it's just a bit of a bad rocket coming in from Collect. You don't have to bait it if he's just going to waste it.
Just force the panic there. That rocket there sent all the way into the back of the cafe. It will not connect, and Optic going to be happy with that, even though they lost the first death and the Rockets. They have the lead here. It will be tied once again, 4-4, make it 5-4. Lucid will, after that first death, redeem himself and give himself a little bit of a lead.
That was 3 dead there for Oxygen Esports as well, and now you can see Lucid already looking for a pressure on, but some good shots coming in from Bomex. They're just going to slow things down a little bit. Trippy was the furthest player off for Optic Gaming, and he got taken down. So now you're seeing that tightness here from Optic once more, making sure they're playing shoulder to shoulder, and Bomex has got no chance to get 2 Optic players.
Wow, this is great here from Lucid. Look at all of it. Oh my God, and a stick as well. Clip that. Unbelievable sequence there to pick up the kill on tires, to stay alive, take no damage from the collect battle, and then loop back on the driveway kill, pick up another one Red Room, and then get the death stick. The man is putting on a clinic. They're now up 10-7.
I love how Lucy does it as well. It always looks like it's disrespectful. It's like, how dare you try and kill me? You know what? I've got no shield, you're coming with me. It really does look like that. And speaking of this Stalker rifle, I don't just say things for a reason, for no reason, excuse me. I mean, Formal there just clipping that headshot, and with the way that he's been shooting today with sniper rifle, any precision weapon, it wouldn't surprise me to be saying this guy got 3'd a few more times.
And it feels like over the course of the season, right? Every single Optic Gaming player, as Formal tries to stay alive, Collect gets a kill from the dumpster and manages to stay alive as well, but that will open up and pave the way for a Lucid rocket grab as he heads to back A.
Looks like he knows that Triton's trying to sneak behind him on tower as well. Nemesis with some good damage from that grenade. I think they know where Lucid is. He tries to thread the needle, can't quite get the damage, but now he knows where the final 2 players are. Boom, you're dead. Formal comes in, Nemesis, you're dead. 4 dead. Here for Oxygen Esports, 19-10. And it looks like Optic are starting to run away with this.
And look at the way that Optic Gaming can hold down the gas pedal at a moment like this and contrast this with the opening moments where they lost the first death and the Rockets. They can slow the game down to a complete halt. It's complete game management from Optic Gaming once again. They're up 20-10.
Look at the way that Lucid's playing this as well. He's just waiting for damage to come in before he makes his move. Then he's just being annoying. He's getting damage down himself, and that is another 4 dead for Oxygen Esports. That is the perfect push from Optic.
This is Optic's world, and we're just living in it. 23-10 now as they have commanding control of this game, and it feels like dictating it at every single turn.
Oxygen Esports just being picked off one by one at the moment. 2 more go into the bank here for Optic Gaming. As Lucid just still showing composure, not getting over aggressive, just making sure he's doing his job, holding down both the mid lane and this pink lane as well. But Trippy's in the feed, and look what he's got. It's a Stalker rifle, double kill to go alongside it. Collect's going to challenge, but haven't seen this man shoot today. I don't think that's a wise idea.
Imagine peeking out maybe your living room on a Monday morning, and it's just Trippy coming down your driveway with a Stalker rifle, just beaming you every single shot.
Close the curtains.
Not a comfortable place to be. 27-12 now, as it feels like this game is just an opportunity for everyone on Optic to pop off yet again.
Oh, this is what I'm talking
Don't go
about.
outside. It is not safe.
Trippy now. It's almost as if he's going to surprise this player as well. He thinks he's got the Stalker, he's got the Bulldog as well. Formal there to keep Trippy alive. Trippy currently sat at 9 kills and 1 death. I think scary is the right word.
Honey, Trippy's outside again. He's got the Stalker rifle. Lock the doors. It's not safe. 33-16. Optic Gaming really starting to pop off. Trippy's 10-1.
Fortunately here for Oxygen, Trippy's run out of ammo with that Stalker. Bohm has the rockets though. But Trippy has the Bulldog. If Oxygen want any hope of getting back into this game, it needs to be 2 kills from 2 at a minimum from this rocket. Bohm has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders here, but with Triton going down, it just means there's more likely that he's going to get sniffed out. He finds 1 kill, but can he stay alive long enough to use the second? No, he can't.
Nice little bank nade from APG from the L to take out the player just below tires there. 2 will fall though for Optic Gaming, so a little bit of moment slow down. Oh God, Trippy's got the Stalker rifle again. Call the police.
I like, one thing I love about North America is the free refills. I didn't realize it applied to Stalker rifles as well, but it seems like Trippy's certainly taking advantage of that. Did he just stick him? No.
Almost. Lots of damage though going down on B in the end. It's a successful push for Oxygen. They're down by 15 at this point in the game and trying to string something together, but you have to wonder, is it too little too late as the arcade music just blares to our ears for a split second? If Nemesis wants to hear footsteps, he's going to have to back away from that.
I feel like that's the exact sound that Trippy walking up the driveway would be accompanied by.
Out of a horror film, without a doubt. 38-20 now. Triton alive in Red Room here. He has the Stalker in hand. Let's see what he might be able to do.
Got a couple of thrusts as well. APG is going to have a little poke and a prod. Goes for the stick, but the sandbox, the difference between the two there. Lucid, he's got a Sentinel beam, and all of a sudden, Oxygen Esports starting to just put a couple of kills together without response. However, just as I finish the sentence, Optic makes sure that's a 2-for-1 trade instead of a 2-for-0.
And you have to think with the run that Optic Gaming just put on at 39-22, this is all but over. A team like Optic does not lose games like this. Rocket's popping up right now.
Yeah, this could be it. If Optic get hold of this rocket launcher, then this will be the final stretch, so to speak. But Oxygen making a good push here, and APG is now last player alive. So it looks like Oxygen should be able to get these rockets, but Formal gets a pick. APG is going to be challenging, and APG finds himself the victim of the double kill. But at 27-42, I can tell you that there's a comeback opportunity for Oxygen. but I've got to say, I might be lying.
It would be nothing short of a miracle. You have to wonder, maybe Oxygen just choosing a little bit too late to get their act together in this game, because right now this is a great sequence from them, but the scoreline has really gotten out of hand.
Just too much to do at this stage of the game. Formal again, just putting himself in a great position to clean up damage. He's currently got 12 kills to his name as well. And when everyone on your team is positive, except for Lucid, usually gonna have a pretty good time here.
It's interesting because we talked about it on the desk earlier, right? They cannot be dependent on Lucid. Everyone on this team has been playing great, but so often Lucid is going 20-9 in games that they win. This is a great example of what this entire Optic roster could do, and all of them firing on all cylinders, only 4 kills to go.
This is Optic sharing the responsibility of the game. It just looks so much more comfortable for everybody at the moment. Everyone playing for that win. Everybody playing to go up 2 in the series. It's 2 more kills to go here for Optic. Nemesis goes down. It's now just the 1. And unfortunately, Boom is the victim of APG. Optic Gaming up by 2. 1 more game to go for them to progress in the winner's bracket.
Crowd in Orlando likes it here. The Green Wall fans happy to see a 50-32 dominant Game 2 win. Just 2 kills shy of a steak dinner. But to be honest, if this day goes the same way as yesterday, Optic might still be having steak by the end of the night. Optic Gaming leads the series 2-0.
Let's take a look at some of the stats from that game as well. We did mention them just at the end before we close things out, or should I say the Optic close things out in that Street Slayer. Optic Formal Matt, otherwise known as Formal. 13 kills to his name, just the 8 deaths, but I'm looking down at Trippy because we saw him with that Stalker rifle causing some problems, to say the least.
14-4. Absolutely wild numbers. Take a look at the damage as well across the board. Trippy leading in the damage category with that 38-30 in the end, and only 26.99 damage taken.
Yeah, when I was looking at Trippy's stats sort of halfway through that game, I was like, I had to double check the deaths. I was like, 1?
Yeah, it was 1.
It's like 1?
10-1, only 1 away from a 10-0 run there. Regardless, he doesn't care. 50-32 is your final score. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
I mean, off the break here.
This is the sequence. Look at this from Lucid. It's almost unfair. He doesn't take damage in tires. Then he goes to kill Bohm here. Great push. Of course, guess what he does here? Doesn't matter if you're pushing him. He somehow, are you kidding me, gets the stick off in the last possible frame.
Super impressive stuff again from Lucid. That's the difference, right? A lot of players would have been happy to get that first kill, but he somehow turns it into a 2-for-1 as he goes down to the grave. And this was the Trippy show for a little bit. That Stalker rifle just causing so much damage. And there's a couple of weapons that we know online are very strong, but trust me, here in the LAN environment on LAN, that Stalker, the Bulldog, and the Heatwave, it's kind of like their effects are kind of multiplied. They are just so strong. And Trippy was giving us a great example of that.
Green Wall building a series layout here, brick by brick. 2 of the bricks are down. They're looking for the 3rd on King of the Hill live fire. As we talked about, historically one of their best maps over the past few weeks, especially last weekend's EU United tournament, is actually their weakest map. We'll see if they can close the series out here. If the first 2 games have been any indicator, they are looking to make quick work of Oxygen Esports and advance on in the winner's bracket.
Well, let's see if Optic can close it out in 3 and keep that momentum going, or if Oxygen are going to have something to say about this. Sniper rifle on the map put a little bit of a smile on my face when I saw that we had live fire as our game number 3, because Formal, we saw him top tower yesterday, we saw what he could do. The question is, can Matthew Piper do it once more?
Starting things off here with Formal. He flies out right away, wastes no time, gets the first kill, almost like he's predicting it like clockwork. Picks up the 2nd kill as well. When you have Formal opening up games like that with doubles, it's going to make quick work of the opponent.
APG cleaning up Bomex as well. That was every player on Oxygen Esports down in pretty quick succession. So now you're going to see attention turning towards that hill, you would imagine, for Optic Gaming, but also eyes on the overshield. A lot to work with off the rip here on Live Fire King of the Hill.
Absolutely. Lucid with the sniper rifle. That's never good if you're on the opposite side of the stage. Actually, it's quite terrifying. Let's see if he can do it against Collective Courts. He does. Hits the shot when he gets the call. And now just chasing down Prey. Let's start things off early with an Optic Gaming. Astro listening.
I'm going big door. I'm going big door right now.
One shot pillar door.
And that means not you again, Matt. Again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's you.
Bottom mid. Go to.
I got time, Matt.
Tommy had sniper in garage.
Are you going? You were bottom mid.
Watching your net spread. I'm watching net spread. I think on me, Brad. On me, Abe. One shot. One shot.
Nice shot, Tommy. We got a pick here. Let's get all this
Behind me,
info.
guys. Behind me.
Yeah.
Behind me. In green.
Back green. Back green.
Back green. Just killed me.
All right, you last guy.
They have sniper. They have sniper.
I'll go. Just live up here.
Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot.
Heat wave was up,
On
maybe.
UAV.
I got spawn kills. And hill sniping. Hill sniping.
Yeah, I got shots. I got shots.
Come here.
Remember, they were
Heat wave, yeah, they have heat wave.
Yeah. Got on me already, A plat. I hear him. Just sitting like Mangler or something.
playing A, we're playing A. I'm going small tunnel.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pillar door, guys. I'm gonna
We
go
probably
pillar
got
door.
one hit on this hill. We probably got one hit on this hill.
Yo, buy me an A, buy me an A.
Let me zero good journey.
Nice, we got a pick here.
Pillars,
Focus on
pillars,
hill.
pillars,
Focus on hill.
absolute. Pillars.
Sniping in hill.
Okay, so we need to get probably. Two dead, 2 on 2.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Absolute. Thanks,
Nice,
thanks,
three.
thanks.
Let's go.
Pillars, pillars, let's go.
Get up.
He's half.
All you, Tommy, all you.
Oh, so let's grab that.
Yeah, I'm on it.
5 seconds for it.
Tommy, I can't go for it.
Pillars still.
Need help, Scott.
We probably just need to give this hill.
Go A flat right now?
That's on me.
Cuts. 2 guys, cuts.
Play over, guys. Play over together.
Come in.
Yeah, play for them, man. Play for them.
Two one shots cuts. Absolute cuts, 2 of them.
It's one bullet.
Nice.
Going for it.
Yep.
Yeah, they're good.
Amazing.
They're gonna have it.
They got it.
Well, as the Astro listening ends, maybe Oxygen Esports series begins because they've managed to get that first hill on the board, and somewhat surprising considering that off the break there, Optic managed to get the overshield. They had the sniper rifle, they had everything they needed, but they just couldn't link those pieces together.
Yeah, it felt like they had all the tools to play with, like you say, everything they needed, but in the end, it's Oxygen Esports with a great first point. We've been praising Optic all series long, but Oxygen showing up in a big way here. We'll see if they can keep this running.
Lucid jumps back up the chimney, decides to come back down again. The reverse Santa Claus followed by the standard Santa Claus to get back on the map. But now though, look at Oxygen once more. They're halfway to capping this second hill. However, they have lost 3 players in the process of this Optic push. So Vomex is last alive. Now has to do a little bit of work. He's trying to just survive bottom middle, but look at this. Trippy's already sniffed him out. The first spawner is already the first in the death screen.
Oh boy. Good damage, and Trippy adds on to that damage. But great job by Optic Gaming to sniff out that last player bottom middle. Trippy must have gotten a call out because he came around that corner with the heat wave primed. And it looked like it was going to be a second Oxygen point, but now Optic will take the lead on the second hill.
Optic take the lead, but it's very, very slender. Lucid has a little bit of snipe to work with. Still has a repulsor chasing down that kill bottom middle. Now Optic have the setup. They have complete control of the tower and this C plat. So anyone who makes a move from Oxygen Esports, you would imagine that Optic will have a line of sight. Try and challenges. He gets bodied, and Trippy immediately cleans it up.
Great work there from Lucid as well to send any projectiles that were flying into cuts right back. Ooh, he wanted the fadeaway jumper. Lucid staying alive here. A little bit of screen watching coming in from him as well.
OS coming up as well. Nemesis gets bodied. Oh my god, half shields! And he takes 2 bodies with him. I mean, Lucid doing so much damage, realizing it was his responsibility to make sure that OS becomes Optics.
He also gets the overshield himself as well. Doesn't even pop, does pop it there. Apologies, a little bit of an animation glitch as we're tied 1-1 off of a great response from Optic Gaming. You just saw Lucid didn't leave C plat until he was sure that that battle was won, and then he brings himself out here to overshield. Almost picks it up single-handedly based on those 2 body shots.
Yeah, great stuff here from Lucid. Just not the timing of it to get the overshield and keep Oxygen off. That means that by pushing forward, he transitions the spawns from Oxygen as far away from where that next hill is going. He almost won the rotation single-handedly there. Lucid, excuse me, for Optic Gaming. Oxygen now trying to fight their way back into Garage, but look at who's holding them. It's APG, and he's heating things up with the waves.
The keeper up for the gates, APG with the heat wave in hand. You're not coming through the garage door, that's for sure. Nothing safe. Trippy's in the driveway with the stalker. APG's guarding the garage door. Your whole house is on lockdown. And Optic Gaming now heating up in this game again. They're going to look to go up 2-1 and continue scoring.
Optic Security Services looking extremely strong in this game now as they are locking down this house hill. Garage is all theirs at the moment, and it looks like at the moment Oxygen have kind of given up on this hill. They maybe have time for one more push, but it looks like they're going to turn their attention maybe towards the OS side, or maybe just trying to get a couple of picks to have a bit more freedom. Moment's going to be challenging, but APG once again just holding down this big door, and this is what APG does. Multiple targets, a lot of damage done.
So they get 1 kill here. Really, they just want to get a little bit of map control, but it's a great trade coming in for Optic, of course, that second point on A does go to Optic. No time for Oxygen to mount the push, and off of the late push, they actually go 2 down, which is going to spell even more control for Optic Gaming yet again.
Yeah, it looks like Oxygen were trying to formulate a push. Unfortunately, it just took a few too many seconds to get all the pieces going together, and Optic don't need to be given a few seconds to convert the hill and take advantage of the space you give them. Now they're inside of that next hill as well. A killing spree here for APG, but Trippy now finds himself last alive. But once again, it's a killing spree for Trippy. Vomex will clean him up finally, and now you have Oxygen sat inside of that hill and collect with the sniper. I tell you what, this man is pretty fun to watch for this.
Yeah, let's see what he can do here. Gonna try to stay alive with his teammates and watch scoreboard for just a moment. Also watching sandbags. They want to try to get the opening pick here if they can. They'll continue scoring if they do.
Triton's just going to get melted here.
God.
Collect backing all the way up to tower. Looks like the other Oxygen players are trying to lock down top mid and make a move on that A plant. There's a nice body shot. Formal will escape with his life, though. As Oxygen now maybe thinking about transitioning into this hill. Repulse up here from Collect into the heavens. The Oxygen sometimes gets a little bit thin up there, but APG is going to keep him on his toes and bring him back down to earth.
Look at them shutting down Collect. He has no sight lines, nowhere to go, just absolutely being harassed by the BRs of Optic Gaming. One last repulse. Wait a second. As he gets a nice little fadeaway onto Formal. Finally gets away, but it might be the end of the story. No. Help comes in from Boom to keep him alive. And they still are trying to tie the game up here 2-2.
Fiercely contested hill, this one. Trippy. With that heat wave, he gets taken down as well, but this is getting very, very close, this hill. You can see pretty much tied up. APG is going to be there inside of the hill. He slides just out at the right time as the help arrives. Again, the baiting and switching inside and around that hill from Optic. Perfect. Collect had nothing that he could do in that situation.
Yeah, really good timing. A great run from Collect, it must be said, on your screen there, but Optic Gaming making sure to eventually shut it down. The boom block doesn't come in from Lucid, so he'll have to wait a moment before re-engaging as well.
Optic look like they've got control of this hill when they do score that third point, so now it's just one more point to go here for Optic to close out the series 3-0. Collective Bone with a couple of kills, but this top middle hill with Lucid sat up on that top tower, it might be another Optic one pretty soon.
With a 3-1 lead here, nice
push.
little two-man push there on the dummy ramp from Oxygen Esports. That will lead to 2 dead for Optic Gaming, but regardless of that push, you have to think 3-1 here with 1:45 left on the top middle hill. This is quite an ask for the side of Oxygen Esports.
Time is certainly going to be a factor as well, even though Optic are kind of trapped here and Collect is having a little bit of a feast with that overshield and heat wave. They've got to pretty much be perfect on this hill, but they're doing a damn good job of it right now. 1:45 left on that game clock. Of course, it's going to stop every time that there is a player inside of that hill. But they're already just over halfway to collecting this point, and then we go back to the start. We go back to that first hill. And that's what we're going to see if Oxygen have got a little bit more to say in this series.
Oh boy, look at APG. Wow. With the reverse Santa Claus of his own, he comes right back up. 3 dead for Oxygen. Look at the numbers that you're seeing on screen. Lucid, by the way, 17 and 10 with 13 assists as well.
Look at APG as well. He's just on the hunt at the moment. Collect will not go down. Nemesis is going to be there to help him out. But all players from Oxygen Esports spawning away from the hill towards that back green area. That's where you want them spawning, as far away as possible, fighting uphill. You have all the angles, you can have all the fun, and Optic, they're looking to do it now, but Oxygen keep fighting here, and you have to give them some credit. They will not let this one go.
Certainly, it's been a great run from them in this game, and certainly their best performance of the series so far. Lucid just putting together every piece of the puzzle. The crowd in Orlando loves it.
He's looking for that sniper rifle as well. The only problem is he's going to be a little bit disappointed because I think it went off the map. Or
maybe with the bathwater situation.
Yeah. It was a difficult situation to watch for sure. But Optic at the moment look like they're just burning a bit of time. You can see nobody has to desperate to get inside of that hill. They can kind of let Oxygen make the plays. Every single time that no one's in that hill and Oxygen have to force their way towards it. Not only are Optic ready, but more time goes off the board and Optic move closer and closer to that 3-0.
Shots here coming in from the side of Oxygen. 2 dead for Optic Gaming here. Got a green wall chant in the room as well on the home stretch for Optic Gaming.
Well, Oxygen are inside of the hill for now, but Formal has decided that maybe he wants to say something about that, but the back smack comes in. Trippy trying to survive, he manages to do so. The cavalry arrives once again here for Optic as they try and force Oxygen out of that hill. And it looks like Optic now, as time starts to dissipate in front of the eyes of the Oxygen Esports fans, are getting closer and closer to closing this one out.
Trippy had no business winning those battles, and now Optic's gonna collapse on top middle as well. But moments away, should be 3-2, yes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Oxygen needs to make sure to get this hill to tie it.
This is always the worry for me in King of the Hill when people try to play time. Yes, it looks like there's not a lot left. It's only 25 seconds, but if you're in that hill, it's not gonna move. So there's almost, you've gotta look at it as if there's 45, 1 minute where you could be outside of it. Try and send one player off the back of the map. Lucid now bottom middle, finds himself as only one of 2 players alive here for Optic. And Oxygen are back into this game.
This is a very, very different game number 3 here. Down to the wire, 24 seconds left, and Oxygen still scoring and still has a minor man advantage off the respawn.
The question is, will there be an overshield in play here in the next few moments for Optic to try and make a break on this hill? Or maybe they're just going to try and brute force this. It's 2 for 2 on the map. That's as Optic have one player come off the respawn. Nemesis gets forward by Formal. A perfect shot's coming in from him, and once again in those cold moments of the game, in the deep waters, Formal's looking like the player to watch.
Look at this, he's also going to pick up that kill. Nice work once again, just guarding the garage door to get for Oxygen. Time will tick down. That is it. Optic Gaming will close out the series 3-0, and the Green Wall here in Orlando is happy about the result.
I wouldn't just say happy, I'd say ecstatic. I think they believe that maybe Orlando is the place where Optic will finally get the monkey off their back and pick up that trophy. A long way to go, of course, but Optic are clicking at the moment. The confidence is flowing, and it is showing in the results that we're seeing.
And even though we're just in the quarterfinals here, keep in mind, Optic is playing like a championship team, right? They are making sure that they are dotting their I's, crossing their T's. And this early in the winner's bracket, putting together perfect gameplay performances, leaving no stone unturned. And they will continue on in the winner's bracket.
They will, and the next round is going to be massive for them because you're going to have one of the big boys to go up against. So Optic have done the job so far today, and not only done it, but done it with merit. Without doubt, every single player has had moments, not only in this series, but today and yesterday, where it looks like there isn't a weak link for now. A huge amount of commiserations to Oxygen Esports. They'll fall down to that elimination bracket, but they gave it everything in that last game, and you can see why they've fought their way through that open bracket and found themselves in nice position.
Look at the assist category. In a game that's only 3-2, look at the assists from Optic Gaming. 15 from Formal, 16 from Lucid, 17 from APG. Compare that with what you see on the side of Oxygen, and you could just tell that this team, Optic Gaming, they are shooting together. The damage will also reflect that as well.
Yeah, huge amount of damage coming in. Lucid leading the line, as you will see on live fire a lot of the time, controlling those power weapons. Formal right up there as well, and that's the perfect at the end of the game from Formal. 1, 2, 3, 4 just completely opens things up. Make sure that there's no extra pressure needed to be felt by Optic Gaming. They close things out, and that's what you need to see from them.
A lot of big wins there at the end of the game from the side of Optic Gaming. As we take a look at the final brick of the green wall that has been constructed here in the winners quarterfinals, 2-0 in on-ball recharge, 50-32 in Slayer Streets, and a nice clean 3-2 King of the Hill live fire win. The closest game of the series, certainly, but still a game that Optic Gaming controlled all the way through.
Yeah, remind me never to have you do construction work, by the way, because 3 bricks is not a wall, man. That's just like a triangle. Like, that thing's not staying up.
That thing looks pretty strong to me, and I think a lot of these people in Orlando would like to have a word with you, so I'm not going to be fighting the green wall anytime soon.
That's a good point. I've seen some of the energy that's out there at the moment, and every single time the Optic step on that stage, they're certainly being fueled by the Optic fans who have stood behind us at the moment. There's a long way to go, of course, for us to really see what they're made of. They've got those big matches ahead of them, of course, but at the moment, Optic arguably looking like one of the strongest.